Grisly Details.
"'Twas a Nightmare Before Christmas" by Don Tackett. Performed by Don Tackett. "'Twas a nightmare before Christmas I had in my bed. Dark creatures were stirring all through my head. My sins were redressed with meticulous care in hopes of avoiding old Krampus this year. But monsters will come without being bidden, some in the open and some will stay hidden. Huddled in bed with both of my cats, all three of us woken from a quick winter's nap. When out of the darkness the quiet was shattered, an ominous sound that made my cats scatter. Up to the window I slowly did creep. Through cracks in the blinds I attempted to peep. The moon lit a scene in its unearthly glow, which gave definition to an odd shape below. And what to my quivering sight should appear but a visual display of many authors of fear. And an eerie old man with a slow southern drawl, I knew at that moment it must be Old Saul. On weekly engagements his stories they came. He quietly chuckled and announced them by name.
On Clark, on Alley, on Applegate and Poe, on Lovecraft, on Bierce, and many more you may know. From modern day horror and from public domain, I'll tell you their stories and poetic refrain.
As the pale light before the darkness does fly, their words leave impressions upon the mind's eye. So into my home the authors all flew. They came in with horror, and Old Saw did too. Then all at once scary music did start, the beat of it straining my poor frightened heart. I tried to escape, but just as I ran, there was Old Saw with his books in his hand. He was dressed in a suit of indeterminate age, and his fingers they whispered across every page. Of the bundle of stories tucked under his arm, a little bit scary, but still full of charm. His eyes sort of sparkled with a hinting of malice. His cheeks they were hollow and seemingly callous. His mouth was drawn up in a menacing sneer that quickly became a grin stretched ear to ear. His teeth were not sharp, but were white as a sheet, and the fire grew low as he then took his seat. His countenance bore an outlook so grim, and his sinister laugh caused the lights to go dim. As spooky and charming as a darkling old elf, but he put me at ease in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a nod of his head, and I knew that his voice would fill me with dread. He spoke a few words to introduce his tall tales, and then he got down to the grisly details. The stories he told filled with excellent prose, of frightening terror and corpsely repose. He finished his tales and he bid me adieu, then stepped into shadows, disappearing from view. But I heard him exclaim as he faded from sight,
Merry Christmas to all, and try and stay close to the porch light. I'd like to thank y'all for stopping by this evening. We always enjoy the company, and hope to see y'all again real soon. Until then, remember that horror ain't about us living in darkness. It's about darkness living in us. So, try to stay close to the porch light.